It started with one tiny mistake, and somehow I became the office's punching bag for everything that went wrong, until I finally decided enough was enough. Let me know in the comments if you've ever dealt with something like this. I'd love to hear your story. So, my name's Tasha, and I've been working as a project coordinator at this mid-sized marketing firm for almost 3 years now. I liked the job well enough. My boss, Renee, was tough but fair, and the work kept me busy. I've always been kind of the quiet one on the team, not big on drama. I come in, do my work, help where I can, and go home. But there's always that one person in every office, isn't there? For us, it was Jeremy. Jeremy was technically the senior account manager. He'd been with the company longer than me, and for the first year I worked there, I thought he was just kind of flaky. Forgetful, disorganized, late to meetings. I figured it wasn't really my business. But slowly, I realized it was becoming my business. Because every time Jeremy dropped the ball on something, somehow I got blamed for it. It started small. Last summer, he was supposed to finalize some client deliverables and send them to me so I could assemble the deck. Deadline was noon Friday. He didn't send them until 2. When Renee called us both in to ask what happened, Jeremy shrugged and said, "Well, I gave everything to Tasha this morning. I guess she didn't finish it in time." Now we saw the lighting. I was stunned. I looked at him like, "Are you kidding me?" But I didn't say anything. I just said, "Sorry, it won't happen again," and stayed late that night fixing his mess. And that became a pattern. When client emails went unanswered, Jeremy told them he wouldn't loop me in and she'll take care of it. When numbers in his reports didn't add up, he'd copy me on an email to Renee saying, "Please double-check these before you send them to the client." When a pitch meeting went sideways because he forgot to prep slides, he told everyone I'd sent him the wrong version. It was like death by 1,000 cuts. And I kept letting it happen because I didn't want to seem difficult. Because every time I thought, it's just one little thing, I'll fix it, and we'll move on. But then came the Erickson account. This was a huge client, biggest we'd landed all year. Everyone was watching it. Jeremy was lead. I was project coordinator. He was supposed to set up a presentation meeting with their executive team for Monday morning. On Thursday, I emailed him a checklist of what he needed to send me. He replied with one word. Friday afternoon rolls around, and I still don't have the client materials. I ping him. He doesn't respond. I call. No answer. Monday morning, we all walk into the conference room. Renee, our creative director, me, Jeremy, and the Erickson team is sitting there waiting. And nothing. No slides, no handouts, not even an agenda. Renee looked like she was about to spontaneously combust. She turned and glared at me and said, "Tasha, where are the materials?" Before I could even open my mouth, Jeremy jumped in. "I don't know what happened. I sent everything to Tasha last week. I guess she never got around to putting it together." I could feel everyone's eyes on me. That was the moment something inside me just snapped. I stood there, heart pounding, and for the first time in 3 years, I said, "No, that's not true." The room went dead quiet. I took a breath and added, "Jeremy never sent me anything. Not last week, not this morning. I emailed him Thursday, called him Friday, and never heard back. This isn't on me." Renee blinked at me. Jeremy gave me this fake little laugh. Like, "Wow, you're really gonna say that here?" But I didn't back down. I turned to Renee and said, "If you want, I can show you the email chain, the call log, the Slack messages. Every time this happens, I've been documenting it. Every time." Jeremy's face went pale. Renee just said, Okay, we'll talk about this after the meeting. The rest of the presentation was a train wreck because Jeremy had nothing to show, but I didn't even care. I sat there calmly while he fumbled through, and for once, everyone knew it wasn't my fault. After the clients left, Renee asked me to stay behind. She closed the door, sat down, and said, "Show me." So I did. I pulled out my phone and opened my folder of saved screenshots, emails, voicemail transcriptions. Everything from the past 6 months, where Jeremy had blamed me for something that was actually his mistake. Renee didn't say a word the whole time. When I finished, she just nodded and said, "Thank you. I wish you'd brought this to me sooner." And then she called HR. By the end of the week, Jeremy was no longer with the company. Word spread fast through the office, of course. Everyone kept coming up to my desk saying things like, "Wow, didn't know you had it in you," or "About time someone stood up to him." I'll admit, part of me wished they'd spoken up too, but at least I finally did. Now, things are quieter. My workload's a little lighter. People treat me with a little more respect. And Renee? She pulled me aside last week and said she's recommending me for a promotion. So yeah, if you're ever in a situation where someone keeps using you as their scapegoat, start keeping receipts. And when the time comes, don't be afraid to speak up. It might just change everything.